Wet fly hook. This is a very simple black leech. I learned this pattern years and years and years ago, and it was one of the first patterns that I ever learned to tie, and I tied them all way too big. Okay, so this one uses basically one material if you don't count the thread, which is 8/0 black, or the hook. The one material is marabou, which I have some here. So what we're going to do is just cover the hook shank with thread. Okay. Now I've got all sorts of marabou like this one. Okay. You notice that I've clipped off the tip. I used the tip on a woolly bugger. Okay. And then I've got this left over. It's lots and lots of good fibers there. But you know, you can't tie that on a woolly bugger because that thick stem just gets in the way. So basically what I do is I just strip off fibers. And for this one I'm gonna take off about I don't know, half an inch or so. So I just basically cut the fibers off there. So there I've got a bunch of things. You see that I've cut off about that much from the thing. So just wrap that in. Okay. So now, when I first tied these years ago, I used to leave these really long. And then I found out as the years progressed that I always ended up trimming this down because I was getting lots and lots of short strakes. Okay, so I said to myself, you can learn something. Why don't you just tie it in short? So what I try to do is I try to make the tail less than the body length. So I grab there, and if it's too hard to pull it off all at once, I just do little bunches. Okay, so that's just a little shorter than the body, and I can just take a little bit more off there. Okay, and then advance the thread a little ways. There. Trim this so that this is even. Tie this bunch in. Okay, again. Tie a bunch like that so that it extends there. And I've lost some of these feathers, so I'm just going to gather them up and stick them together because it doesn't really matter with this marabou where you're getting it and what length it is. And then I will do another bunch up here. Whatever doesn't please me, I just force it back. Sort of a big head here. I'm going to trim this. Now you may recognize the technique of putting in the multiple wings like this as from the Michelak sedge. That's what you do, building it with elk hair. This is basically the same thing, only you're building it with marabou instead. And whatever ones are too long. Okay.
Mike, you find you get lots of movement with marabou rather than the elk?
Yeah, you get. Yeah. Well, yeah. The big difference is that the Michelak sedge is a dry fly. And this is a wet fly. And I made a mistake there by breaking that. So you use 2 or 3 bunches of feathers. If a really, really small hook, you might only need 2 bunches. And that's the whole fly, okay? If you wet it down, it turns into a nice profile, okay? If there's some bits that offend you, cut them off. So that's a very, very simple leech. And what I found with fishing leeches over the years is that littler is better. For some reason, the fish like to eat littler leeches better than the big, long, 3 or 4 inch leeches that you can actually find in streams and lakes. I mean, they are there, but the fish like them this size. So that's just a very, very simple block leech. Okay. Next one is going to be, and if you want to go smaller, you can. This one here is on a size 14 wet fly hook. Again, it's a little bit smaller, but they love them small. And what I found with grayling is that if you have a drop-off or something like that, and you just sort of swing this over the drop-off, you can actually entice the fish to come up and eat this. Like, they see it, it's black, the marabou is moving around a little bit in the water, they like it.